The Tao that can be described is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be spoken is not the eternal name. Lao Tzu's Tao Te Ching opens with a riddle that dismantles logic. Here's the contradiction. The greatest force in existence cannot be named, yet it shapes galaxies, seasons, and the quiet rhythm of your breath. Why do we exhaust ourselves chasing control when nature thrives on surrender? Rivers don't decide to reach the ocean. They follow gravity's whisper. Bamboo survives hurricanes by bending, not resisting. Yet humans glorify struggle, mistaking burnout for purpose. The Taoist concept of Wu Wei, effortless action, mocks our obsession with effort. Athletes call it the zone. Artists vanish into flow, but Lao Tzu called it non-action, a state where striving dies and mastery arises from stillness. Consider water, soft, yielding, yet it carves grand canyons. The Tao Te Ching warns, that which offers no resistance overcomes the hardest substances. But here you are, clawing at life like a climber scaling an imaginary cliff. Your calendars, to-do lists, and sleepless nights scream defiance of nature's law. Ask yourself, why do we equate exhaustion with virtue? Why worship hustle when even stars obey orbits without effort? The Taoist paradox cuts deeper. To gain control, you must release it. To move mountains, you must first stop pushing. Modern science echoes this. Quantum particles decide, paths in harmony with fields, not force. Yet you white-knuckle outcomes, fearing stillness as failure. The Tao Te Ching is the second most translated book in history, yet its core truth remains unlearned. Flow isn't passive, it's intelligent. Alignment. The river doesn't try to reach the sea. It becomes the path of least resistance. Your mind, however, wages war against currents, clinging to branches of past regrets, thrashing against futures that haven't formed. What if the cliff you're scaling is an illusion? What if surrender isn't weakness, but the only true power? Water is fluid, soft, and yielding, but water will wear away rock, which is rigid and cannot yield. Lao Tzu's observation isn't poetry, it's a psychological blueprint. For 2,500 years, Taoism has echoed a truth modern neuroscience now confirms. Effortless action isn't laziness, it's alignment with the deepest laws of existence. Carl Jung called it synchronicity, the acausal connecting principle of the universe. Taoists named it the Wei. Both point to the same hidden force. Reality operates on rhythms no planner or productivity hack can outsmart. The Tao Te Ching warns, he who stands on tiptoe cannot stand firm. He who rushes ahead cannot go far. Nietzsche, in Thus Spoke Zarathustra, unknowingly channeled Lao Tzu. Amor fati, love your fate. To flow is to embrace life's current, not conquer it. But why does this feel counterintuitive? Blame Descartes. The Western obsession with I think therefore I am reduced existence to a mechanical duel between mind and matter. Taoism, like quantum physics, rejects this division. Subatomic particles don't decide their paths. They harmonize with invisible fields. Similarly, Wu Wei isn't passive, it's action attuned to the universe's hidden symphony. Modern psychology reveals the cost of ignoring this. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi's flow states mirror Wu Wei. When challenge meets skill, effort dissolves into ecstatic focus, yet our culture pathologizes stillness. ADHD diagnoses climb as we punish children for resisting assembly line education. Sleep disorders proliferate as we drug ourselves to optimize rest. The Taoists foresaw this. Chasing wealth, you destroy yourself. Grasping at titles, you stumble in darkness. Even Stoicism, Taoism's Greek cousin, understood. Epictetus wrote, we cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond. But Taoism goes further. Don't just accept the river, become it. Zhuangzi's parable of Cook Ting, the butcher who danced through ox carcasses with a 19-year-old blade, isn't folklore. It's a metaphor for neuroplasticity. When mind and task fuse, skill transcends technique. The Tao's power lies in its invisibility. Like gravity, it needs no praise. Like quantum fields, it defies labels. Jung wrote, "Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakes." Taoism awakens us to a humbling truth. You are not the sculptor of your life. You are the water and the sculpture. He who conquers others is strong. He who conquers himself is mighty. Lao Tzu's words cut deeper today than ever. What happens when we defy the Tao's gentle laws? The answer lies in your racing mind at 3 a.m., your stiff shoulders, hunched over screens, the quiet dread that you're falling behind even as you sprint. Burnout isn't accidental. It's rebellion against nature. Neuroscientists confirm chronic stress shrinks the prefrontal cortex, the brain's flow center. Yet we glorify sleepless hustle, mistaking exhaustion for honor. The World Health Organization now classifies burnout as an occupational syndrome, a badge of dishonor for civilizations that worship effort over ease. Consider the river again. Fish don't manage currents, they float, pivot, conserve energy. Humans, however, fight tides with caffeine, apps, and 5-year plans. Psychologist Gabor Mate warns, we've pathologized normal human needs. Fatigue isn't a disorder, it's your body begging you to flow. The Tao Te Ching puts it bluntly, too much sharpness dulls the blade. Our obsession with control breeds collateral damage. Illusion of control bias tricks us into believing deadlines and micromanagement shape outcomes. Yet study after study shows overwork lowers productivity. Japan's karoshi, death by overwork, and America's $190 billion annual burnout costs scream the Taoist truth. Resistance is violence against yourself. Even our relationships fracture. Psychologist Esther Perel observes, we demand certainty in love, like it's a spreadsheet. But Taoism teaches, trust the river. A parent clinging to a child's future breeds resentment. A partner suffocating love with expectations kills desire. Zhuangzi wrote, the wise man lets his heart mirror the world without striving. The greatest cost? We forget how to live. Children laugh 300 times daily. Adults, 15. We medicate stillness with Netflix binges and doom scrolls, terrified of the silence where the Tao whispers. Chase money, society demands. Lao Tzu counters, be content with what you have. Rejoice in how things are. Ask yourself, when did ease become a sin? Why fear the current that's carried galaxies and glaciers before you? Do you have the patience to wait until your mud settles and the water is clear? Lao Tzu's question is a gauntlet thrown at modernity's feet. Here's the heresy no productivity guru will admit. True power begins when you stop trying to wield it. Why do we equate doing nothing with failure? Why glorify the CEO grinding 80-hour weeks while the river outside their window carves mountains without a single meeting? The Taoist answer is radical. Mastery isn't domination, it's attunement. Cook Ting, Zhuangzi's butcher, didn't conquer the ox. He danced with its essence, blade gliding through empty spaces only stillness reveals. His secret? I follow the way, not technique. Modern science vindicates this. Psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi found top performers enter flow, states not by force, but by releasing overthinking, surrendering to the task like a leaf in a current. Olympic athletes call it the zone. Taoists call it Wu Wei. The paradox? Effortlessness requires more discipline than effort. It's the violinist who stops counting practice hours and becomes the music. Yet our culture mocks this as passivity. We've inverted reality. A CEO's worth is measured by busyness, not impact. Schools train children to hoard knowledge like dragons, not flow with curiosity. Even Stoicism's amor fati, love of fate, gets twisted into grim endurance, not joyful alignment. History's greatest breakthroughs emerged from surrender, not struggle. Newton discovered gravity while sitting under a tree, not toiling in a lab. Archimedes shouted, Eureka, in a bath, not a boardroom. Van Gogh painted starry nights not by forcing genius, but vanishing into brushstrokes. The Tao Te Ching pierces the illusion. Who can be still until their action arises from necessity? Surfers don't fight waves, they read their rhythm and rise. Similarly, Wu Wei isn't resignation, it's action so precise it feels like fate. Ask yourself, what if trying is the obstacle? What if clarity comes only when the mud of effort settles? Manifest plainness, embrace simplicity, reduce selfishness, have few desires. Lao Tzu's final teaching isn't a philosophy, it's an awakening, the ultimate truth. You are not living life, you are life living itself. The Tao isn't a path to walk, but the ground beneath your feet. For decades, you've believed you were the sculptor, chiseling ambitions, carving outcomes, bleeding for control. But rivers don't sculpt their banks. The water is the sculptor. Lao Tzu whispers, the Tao does nothing, yet nothing is left undone. This isn't mysticism, it's physics. Stars burn without effort. Seeds split concrete quietly. Your heart has pumped 100,000 times today without a single conscious command. The paradigm shift. Surrender isn't losing, it's merging. When a dancer becomes the dance, technique vanishes. When a writer becomes the story, ego dissolves. Cook Ting's blade lasted 19 years, not because he controlled the ox, but because he joined it. Modern life screams, fight, grind, conquer. The Tao replies, be like dawn, silent, inevitable, rewriting the world by simply appearing. Your entire existence is proof of this truth. You didn't choose to be born, yet here you are. Lungs breathing, cells dividing, synapses firing in rhythms older than the sun. The Tao asks, why swim upstream when the sea is your destiny? Every anxiety, every sleepless night is a war against currents that have carried civilizations to shores they never imagined. So here's the choice. Keep clawing at the cliff of someday, muscles fraying, mind howling, let go, become the river. The irony, you've always been the river. Your striving was a dream, your exhaustion, the cost of that illusion. Zhuangzi dreamed he was a butterfly, then awoke unsure if he was a man who dreamed a butterfly or a butterfly, now dreaming a man. This is the Tao's final gift, the realization that you are both the dreamer and the dream. The current's been waiting. Stop fighting. Flow.